Join me as I take on the challenge of painting an entire landscape on this tiny mini round wood. Painting on unconventional surfaces can be a thrilling experience, and today I'm excited to push my creative boundaries by working on a surface that's anything but ordinary. This tiny mini round wood is just the kind of unusual canvas that can test an artist's skills and imagination. Working with a tiny canvas like this one comes with its own set of challenges. For one, there's the obvious limitation of space. It's tough to fit all the elements of a landscape into such a small area without it feeling cluttered or cramped. Then there's the issue of detail. With such a small surface, every brushstroke counts, and it's easy to end up with a piece that looks overly simplified or lacking in texture. The scale of everything has to be carefully considered, and that can be pretty daunting. Plus, there's the technical challenge of actually getting everything to fit and look balanced. The limited space also affects how I approach composition. I have to think really carefully about what's essential to the scene and what can be left out or suggested rather than fully rendered. It's a very different process from painting on a larger canvas, where you might be able to get away with more elaborate details and subtle transitions. Here, every element has to earn its place, and that means making some tough decisions about what's really important to the overall image. Another thing that's tricky about a tiny canvas is the level of precision required. A single misplaced brushstroke can throw off the whole composition, and it's hard to correct mistakes when there's so little room to work with. That level of precision can be stressful, but it's also kind of exhilarating. It's like solving a puzzle, figuring out how to make everything fit just so. To tackle this challenge, I started by sketching out my composition in pencil. I wanted to get a sense of how I could make the most of the space available and what elements I could include. From there, I began selecting my colors, choosing a palette that would evoke the feeling of a serene landscape without requiring a lot of intricate detail. As I started painting, I focused on blocking in the largest areas first, the sky, the background, and so on, and then gradually worked my way down to the finer details. I used a small brush and worked very deliberately, trying to make every brushstroke count. It was a meditative process, actually, very focused and intentional. The techniques I used to maximize the small space effectively included layering and glazing to achieve depth and luminosity, and really paying attention to the edges and how they interact with each other. Soft edges can suggest distance or atmosphere, while hard edges can bring things forward. It's amazing how much you can do with just a few, carefully placed brushstrokes. As I worked, I found myself getting more and more into the zone, lost in the process of creating. It was a great feeling, and I was excited to see how everything would come together. And here's the finished piece. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I was able to capture the essence of a landscape on this tiny wood canvas. The details might be small, but I think they add up to create a sense of depth and atmosphere. Recapping this journey, I learned a lot about working on a small scale and about the importance of every single element in a composition. It was a fun challenge, and I feel like I've grown as an artist from tackling it. If you're curious about my process or have thoughts on painting on small canvases, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to check out my other painting videos if you're interested in more artistic challenges.